FBI Director Kash Patel was back on the Hill yesterday for more fireworks when the House Judiciary Committee had their turn to give him a performance review. Please take a look.
Did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
The question is simple. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out?
Yes
if you're
or
gonna
no,
mock me?
Director?
Use the alphabet.
Yes or no?
No? A, B, C,
Director,
D, E, F?
it sounds like you don't want to tell us. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The question has been asked and answered.
You've not answered it, and we will take your evasiveness as a consciousness of guilt.
Dylan Roof, who followed white supremacist propaganda, murdered 9 black parishioners in Charleston in 2015. Do you deny this?
I'm sorry. Dylan Ruth?
Roof?
Roof, can you give me some more information?
You're head of the FBI, you probably know this. If you don't know, that's fine. You
can give me a reminder. I've got a lot in front of me.
It was national news.
Will you be opening up an investigation into the Epstein estate for putting out a fake document with the president's signature linking him to the world's largest pedophile ring? Will you be opening that investigation into that?
On what basis?
On what basis? They literally put out a fake document, according to the president, with a fake signature. It's a forgery of the president of the United States signature. That's the basis.
Sure, I'll do it.
Trump famously said he likes the poorly educated. He also seems to like the unqualified and the uninformed. Yeah. I mean, if the FBI director does not know the information, who's supposed to know it? My dentist?
But I bet your dentist knew who Dylan Roof was.
Well, and if the FBI director has not spoken with the president of the United States about the Epstein files, considering the dominating of news cycles, that's also a problem. He might need to know his chain of command. That's who he's supposed to be talking to. But also, there's another clip I want you to see with Senator Massey. Take a look.
According to victims who cooperated with the FBI in that investigation, these documents in FBI possession, your possession, detail at least 20 men, one Hollywood producer, worth a few $100 million, one royal prince, one high-profile individual in the music industry, one very prominent banker, one high-profile government official, one high-profile former politician, one owner of a car company in Italy, one rock star, one magician, at least 6 billionaires, including a billionaire from Canada.
So that's a Republican from Kentucky, and he is spelling out that there's clearly names because Kash Patel had said there's not any indication that there's any kind of list, so the victims are coming together.
Didn't Pam Bondi say there was a list, though?
I feel like that's like 12 news cycles of the back and forth, so I'm so confused at this point. Yeah, but just most recently he had said there's no list, and this is from the victims. The victims are saying that, and he's being questioned by a Republican senator. But the other thing I would say is that Brad Edwards, a lawyer that represented the majority of the Epstein victims out of Florida, he's worked on this case for 20 plus years and is arguably, outside of law enforcement, the person who's seen and knows the most about these files. He said there's more to question than just this idea of clientele, because I think, he goes, people have gotten caught up on this long, list of people. He said the more precarious part is following the money, because this is a man, and the quote is, "It's strange to me," this is the lawyer saying this, "it's strange to me that somebody who rarely leaves his house," that's Epstein, "is somehow able to get meetings with people, and they will travel from literally all over the world to meet with him on his time, at his place, under his circumstances." There is something there, and he said he remains most passionate about tracing the money, where it goes and who it leads to.
It's power, it's money, it's politics. That's why I think the Epstein associations have just captured America's attention, because I kind of reject people who I feel like are only care about it suddenly for political reasons. I do think that there are some Democrats who I've never heard utter the name Jeffrey Epstein, did not care during the 4 years of Biden about getting the files, but now do because they think it's going to implicate Biden. But then I think, Donald Trump. I do think that there are some people who are honest brokers in this. Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna, a Democrat and a Republican, who actually are talking to the victims. They are actually trying to get information that's in the public domain, get more than we we've been able to see, because they want to get to the bottom of it.
Don't they have a
that
bill
they're-
on the floor that they're only one vote
it's
short of?
And it's a discharge petition
right?
that basically, if passed, would force DOJ to turn over documents. The one cold water I'd pour on that is it has to pass the Senate and then has to be signed by Donald Trump. So if DOJ hasn't wanted to, they're not going
Right.
to. But I look to the honest brokers in these moments. Also, Jared Moskowitz, I think, was very effective in pointing out, if the White House maintains that document, the image we saw, the words and the signature is not Donald Trump's. He's engaging in a lawsuit saying it was not him. Then it should be investigated. The fact that there's a forgery of Donald Trump's signature, that should be. So I think look to the people who aren't looking for political gain and actually want to get to the bottom of these crimes. Those are the people to follow.
Well, let me
Look for
just
the
say,
ones who don't want to put out the information.
Yeah.
Who are saying, no, don't do it, don't do it.
But you're not
Let
going to
me-
get anything from
let me
them.
say this. I think, to your question, Joy, the Wall Street Journal did report that Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, told Trump in May of this year about his name appearing in the documents. Now, that in and of itself is unusual because remember back in the day when there were 3 separate branches of government, and we had James Comey, who was very uncomfortable as the FBI director, going into the White House and having meetings with Donald Trump, because that is really something that didn't happen before. You didn't have the FBI director speaking directly to the president. You didn't have the Attorney General
They brief
speaking
them on
directly.
law enforcement matters.
But they don't have dinner with them. That's just not a normal thing, this sort of blurring of the lines that we're seeing now. And I will also say this, you know, Kash Patel was so evasive. He was asked 9 times about whether or not he had the Epstein files, the Epstein list, and he was evasive every single time. He kept on saying that a court order prevented him from providing it. If you look at the court order, which, I did. If you look at the court order, the judge rejected DOJ's efforts to unseal the grand jury, writing that the government itself is the logical party to make the Epstein files public, and criticized the motion that the government had provided, had moved for as a diversion tactic.
So say that in English, please.
In English, in non-legalese, what that means is that the FBI has the Epstein information, has the list, and is the proper party, Kash Patel is the proper party to disclose it.
So is he lying?
Well, the FBI director is the person that maintains this information and can make it public, period.
This, if you really want to see the beginnings of the fingers of all of this, you have to go way back to the man who was put in charge, who gave Epstein the sweetheart deal to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
Alex.
So you have to start there
Yes.
and work all the way back, because this is, you know, people have been trying to crack this nut for a while.
Yeah.
And now that they have cracked the nut, they don't like what they're finding. And I'm with you. If that's a forgery, and he's suing all kinds of other people, why isn't he suing to find out why somebody forged his name? Why somebody forged his
An
stuff?
investigator.
Yeah.
He should want to clear his name.
You know, I mean, this is the one place I would say, man,
So,
if somebody did this to you and is using your signature, what else have they signed in your name?
yeah, so.
I'm just asking the question.
Not the Constitution.
Well, no, they'd have to be way older to have signed the Constitution. Well,